When we talk about the word addictions, very few times do we ever say that there are actually benefits to the many addictions in the world, but there are. Hi, I'm David Essel, 43 years now as a counselor, executive coach, number one best-selling author, and so much more. And I am a former addict, alcohol and cocaine, and I'm going to give you some ideas and thoughts today. Whenever we judge people that are struggling with addictions, we don't really understand the whole story because there are benefits to every addiction in the world. I will not say the benefits outweigh the downside because that would be ridiculous. But if there weren't benefits, people wouldn't find addiction so addicting, right? If there weren't benefits to getting into the world of addiction, then we wouldn't have a world of addiction. But there's many benefits. You know, when I work with opiate addicts, the number one thing I hear all the time, David, it's just so great to have that warm feeling. It's so great to have that feeling of being cared for by myself. Now, this is when they're high. When they're high on any kind of opiate, whether it's heroin, fentanyl is a little different, but still it's an opiate. Any of the opiates sold via pharmacies and doctors, etc. We all want that feeling, right? That feeling of acceptance. And so for the opiate, that's what I hear from all my opiate addicts, is that there's this warmth, there's this acceptance, there's this feeling of being held. Just incredible stuff. And so when you are struggling in life and you find something that's going to give you that warmth and that feeling of being held, my God, we want to go back to it. Unfortunately, with every addiction, the high, the warmth, the feeling of love is very short-lived, which is why we help so many people get clean every year at my program, that we have a permanent alcohol and addiction recovery program. I started myself. There's people that are looking for the warmth and the nurturing and the love that they didn't get probably as children, or they didn't get in their relationships as adults, and so they're finding it through some other source. Mine came through two reasons. I began an addict at 12 because I had all of this internal emotion, this anger, this frustration. No one could put a finger on it. We didn't know what was causing it. The doctors back then said it was my allergies. Years later, we find out it was I had no idea how to emotionally regulate. An extremely sensitive child, very different in many ways than the rest of my family. And I didn't know how to handle it. And so there was all this rage and anger. And then there was acceptance, peer pressure. I started at 12 on a beach wanting to hang out with 16-year-olds, and the only way I could do it is if I drank Budweiser beer warm right from the can, and I did, and I found this relief from my anger. Oh my God, when we have people, there's plastic surgery addicts, right? And so they're getting all this plastic surgery, both men and women, although women, of course, outrace the men in this addiction, but they're doing it for self-validation. They're doing it because they want others to validate them. They're doing it because they want to validate themselves, like they want to look in the mirror and think they're amazing. But that becomes addiction, right? It becomes an addiction because there may not be enough plastic surgery, or maybe you run out of money. And there's another addiction, money. A lot of times people, when they get plastic surgery, they're going to be thinking that they're looking much more beautiful, and they may or they may not, right? But if you're an addict to plastic surgery, at some point, we're going to get botched. It's just going to happen. The odds are not that every plastic surgery procedure is going to be perfect. So you have to look and say, is this an addiction? Am I doing this to validate myself? Am I doing it to get validation from others? Because that's usually what happens. Or money is the same thing, the addiction to making money, right? I have clients that make so much money, and yet they feel awesome. They feel validated. They can say to people, we have millions of dollars in the bank, right? And that grabs people's attention, and it gets them saying, oh my God, how amazing, how did you do it? But there comes a point with money where that security and everything is overruled by money. And a lot of times when we get that addiction to money, we end up destroying friendships, relationships, family relationships, because we find out that holding on to our money or making more is more important than anything else in the world. There's so many benefits. Food, as a matter of fact, is another one, right? Where in the evening, people that go to salty or sugary foods or anything like that at all, they're trying to escape reality, and food will do that. It'll numb us out in a heartbeat. You choose the correct food, you're going to be feeling good for a long time. When I used cocaine, it was amazing. It made me feel invincible. I talked about writing 100 books and having homes all over the world, and yeah, but it was a fantasy. You see, addictions lead us to places that we desire, but it's all a fantasy. It can't be sustained. So there's many benefits to addiction. Oh my God, alcohol, liquid courage, if you have low self-confidence, low self-esteem. Again, going up until I got sober a number of years ago, I would use alcohol to go to parties, to go to networking events. My confidence and self-esteem. People would look at me going, how could you speak in front of 5,000 people and need alcohol to go to a networking event with 100 people? Like, it didn't make sense, right? But that was my low self-confidence and low self-esteem. When I'm on stage, I'm in control. When I'm at an event, a party, a networking event, I'm not in control. So I found that I was using alcohol as a way to help me do what I couldn't do then that I can do now. And now I can go to any event whatsoever without ever thinking of having alcohol, cocaine. I mean, it's been so many years. And, you know, when my mom and dad died, that would have been a perfect relapse. But we teach a permanent recovery program, and I'm in my own program that I teach. I wanted to share this video, especially for people that don't understand the world of addiction. If there weren't a ton of benefits here for me and for all the other people who are past addictions or are still in it, I want you to sort of get an understanding. Maybe you can have some compassion. The traumas that we've experienced in childhood, the traumas we've experienced in relationships, the trauma maybe we've experienced through war, the traumas maybe we've experienced through our careers, whatever it might be, can lead anyone down that roadway to addiction. The benefits do not outweigh the negative outcomes. If you need help, reach out to me at davidessel.com or talkdavid.com. Yes, there are benefits, but let us teach you how to get those benefits without the need of the drug or the behavior or the substance. I'm David Essel. Have a great day.